The current world we live in is anything but normal. The way that people go about their everyday lives has been skewed for quite some time. As far back as I can remember, I have been told not to steal. I have been told that thieves are the lowliest of people. Taking what is not yours is wrong. And I was taught that at a real early age. And I'm sure all of us were. All of us with a parental guardian or some kind of parental role, we had something. We had someone at some place telling us that we should not steal. Stealing is wrong. Now, does that stop us? No, it doesn't stop us. In my daily life alone, I experience those who steal everywhere. Whether it's constantly keeping your eyes open at work to make sure people don't take product that isn't theirs, or watching who you thought to be your closest friend maneuver his apartment looking for anything that's valuable that he could take home to potentially sell or make ill gains on. Now, I'm not here rambling about thieves. That isn't going to be my entire video. The two topics that surround thievery that I wanted to bring up are going to be Bungie constantly stealing artwork in their video games, and I wanted to bring up the UFC and the piracy situation. Now, first thing I want to bring up, because I don't have as much information on it, is going to be the UFC and its piracy. The UFC has been increasing prices over the last 6 years to the point where the average everyday consumer doesn't want to buy in to watch a numbered UFC event. Now, granted, I'm addicted, and quite honestly, I will watch every numbered UFC event. But as of recently, there have been multiple ways to watch these events. You have multiple piracy sites that will put the numbered UFC cards up, and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of people flock to these sites to avoid having to pay that pesky $79.99 and that pesky $10.99 to even be offered to buy the fight for $79.99. Now, do I think piracy is wrong? Yes. I think that if you steal others' works, movies, live sports, etc., if you steal that and not pay for the right to watch and enjoy the content, then I think you are committing a wrongdoing. Now, it's a special case in the UFC because less than 20% of all of the revenue that UFC makes goes to its fighters. They have been dropped from 100K bonuses for fight of the night and performance of the night down to a merely 50K, something that is constantly losing value. I think that if you were to do the math, 50K 2 years ago would now have to equal a 63K payout just to have the spending power of 50K from 2 years ago. And you think to yourself, why is that a problem? Why is that a problem that the UFC has piracy issues, and you bring up the fact that 20% of the revenue does go to the fighters? Well, I have a problem with that, because why am I paying to watch these UFC fighters fight each other if my money, at least a piece of it, doesn't end up going to the fighters? Now, I'm on the side of it that I'm not by any means advocating that anyone watching this video pirates any live sport or live movie or TV show or anything that requires someone to pay for it. I do not advocate against that. Let me go ahead and get that out of the way. The only reason I would even consider advocating it is because multiple times now I have seen fighters come to light saying that they don't honestly care if you buy the fights. They just want you as a fan to watch them fight. They don't make the money from you buying the fight. It's a sad thing to see, but in other leagues, such as the NBA and NFL, the players are earning up to 40 to 50% of the NFL's revenue. They are paying the players out with the money that gets spent by the fans, which is fine with me. I would happily pay for an NFL game, and I do. I pay for multiple streaming services to watch multiple NFL games. My problem lies is when the money that is being spent to view it doesn't go to the fighters. So yes, is piracy stealing? Yeah. But is the UFC also stealing from its fighters by not paying them what they're worth? By making these fighters put their body on the line night after night, fight after fight, all to hopefully, maybe, one day get the performance of the night or fight of the night bonus, which sits at $50K a piece. So it begs the question of how much they're actually getting paid. It begs the question of, if you don't want us to pirate, what are you doing with the money? I mean, not to call out Dana White. That's not my goal here. But Dana is constantly talking about how he's a huge gambler. Well, where'd you get the money from to gamble? If you can't pay the fighters, you shouldn't be paying yourself that much either. I can rest my case there. The second case I wanted to talk about is Bungie. And Bungie's ability to constantly get caught stealing artwork in particular, and be able to fire some developers, say it wasn't their fault, and go back to doing exactly what they were doing. In 2024, the Bungie game development studio known as Bungie decided that they were going to steal some artwork for Destiny 2. Now, I'm sure you've heard of Destiny 2, and I'm sure you've heard of this case at least. Thankfully, in this case, the artist did end up getting paid for the art that Bungie used in their game Destiny. Their most current case, though, and oh man, is it a shit show, is with their newest game, Marathon. Now, Marathon was supposed to release in September of 2025, and it was supposed to be an extraction looter shooter, their newest project coming out of Bungie. Now, the biggest issue that has come out over the past couple of days is that Bungie, potentially even the same guy who was over the project in the past that was stealing art, they've been caught again. An artist going by the online user of Anti-Real has caught her art being used in Marathon. Now, Bungie has not paid her. Bungie did not discuss paying her. Bungie didn't even discuss with her if they could use their art. And this isn't just like, oh, they're taking the logo off the white monster can and they're flipping it upside down and now it's going to be a W for the Wumbo Gumbo hero shooter that they're using. No. From what I've been able to tell by the deep dive that I've been able to go into, Bungie has taken some of her art and used it as background cards for their heroes. They've taken her personal logo and used it somewhere within the Marathon world. They've used several more of her assets building into this world. So it even begs the question of, is any of the art in Marathon original? Or did Bungie steal all of it, and this artist is the only one to have realized and have now come forward? It's hard to believe that people in that light who have been caught doing this before are able to do this again. And it wraps it all back up into the, we've been told multiple times growing up that stealing is wrong. And I'm not saying it's necessarily the game developers. I do believe that it is a higher position at Bungie that is always kind of protected. I believe that the people they're blaming for this are going to end up being some developers that get fired and move on. I don't think that any of the developers knew that this art was stolen and that it wasn't properly acquired or that the permits and licenses weren't all there. I don't blame Bungie. I don't blame Wow. Let me speak for a second. I don't blame the Bungie developers for using the artwork that potentially a higher up within Bungie told them to use. It's kind of a shitty situation, and quite honestly, it makes my stomach hurt to not only get caught once, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, you're just a piece of shit. Uh, and Bungie, unfortunately, now is just a piece of shit. I'm pretty sure they're going to end up paying this artist for her art. That would be the right thing to do. That would be the best thing to do. But at the end of the day, we're gonna keep watching. We're gonna see what Bungie does. I mean, are they going to continue with the release of Marathon, or are they potentially going to delay it or even cancel the game? Nobody knows. But when they make an announcement, I'll probably hear about it and I'll probably cover it. Until then, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and this has been the Kevin Show. You guys have a good one.